Hello Georgetown, I'm Beverly Enos and you're watching Spotlight Georgetown. You can find us Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. on your local cable station. If you would like to be part of the process, you're more than welcome to join us. They will teach you how to use the cameras and help run Spotlight Georgetown. Now today we're talking to Stu Eggenberg, and he has worn lots of hats in Georgetown. So we'll be talking about all the different things that he's done and what he is doing now. So, hello Stu, how are you?
Hello, thanks for having me.
Well, this will be fun because I've known you for such a long time.
I know, we're like old
Now-
partners in crime.
Yeah. We have been, actually.
Yeah, so to speak, you know.
Now you live in Georgetown.
I used to. I got divorced in 15 and moved out in 15. I'm over in Merrimack now,
Oh,
across the river.
you deserted us.
I know.
Okay.
Might be back some point.
Well, we still love you,
Never
I
know.
guess. So,
I'm here every day, though.
you're here every day. Now, when you were here, when you were living here, you were a selectman for a period of time. How long was that?
About 4.5 years.
Okay. And what was the most fun about being a selectman?
The most fun.
What did you like? What was the best part?
Well, I think it was kind of interesting to see really the inside part, inside ball, you know, of how government works, because I'm intimately familiar with how business works. And government really is the antithesis of how business works. So that was really interesting, I thought. You know, having been involved over the years just in different committees and whatnot, you know, the budget process I was familiar with. Understanding that, you know, I think the most interesting piece for that time that I was a selectman was actually building the new school.
The new Pembroke.
Yeah, because there was $47 million of bonds that I had to personally sign as chairman of the board. And I was looking at that, I'm looking at these bills and I'm like, 9 million here, 8 million there, you know.
To play with other people's
so
money.
that was really interesting.
Yeah, OPM,
and,
call it.
you
Other
know,
people's money.
Other people's money. Yeah, and it was really, really interesting to see it from where Michelle and the group had started it 10 years ago. All the way through to where, you know, it was progressing, and then when I was a selectman, then being on the committee, you know, the building committee, school building committee, and going through that whole process. And I know at one point, when they did the soil testing and board tests and everything, you know, they came up with an unusually high amount of cyanide, which is a naturally occurring substance here in New England.
Because of all the granite and the rock.
Yeah, all the decay
Yes.
and granite and whatnot. So everybody had a panic about that, and
Oh.
we went deep into it with the EPA and DEP and all that, and ended up at the end of the day getting everything fine, clearance through our OPM and everything. EPA and all that, and we honestly didn't have to spend the $2 million that they spent. And I had raised my hand at the meeting and said, "You don't have to do it." And everybody was in a panic mode. What if we eat that dirt for 30 years? We're gonna die. And I'm like, okay, go ahead and eat the dirt for 30 years. You know what I mean? But whatever. You know, it worked out. It came in just under budget a little bit, and would have been $2 million under budget if we didn't have to spend all that money on that, you know, environmental stuff. But you know.
But it's a beautiful
Abundance
school.
of caution, so you know I get it, and a beautiful school. Really love the layout and the way they just do the floors and all the color schemes and everything.
Yeah.
So, gotten a lot of feedback over the years on people that are have kids in it, are moving into town, thinking about moving into town. Really excited about the new school. So,
A lot of people move to Georgetown just because of the schools.
Yeah,
A lot
the
of
district. Yeah, the district's pretty amazing. You know.
And we're
I
one
was-
of the few towns that have our own
That has
school
your own
system
district.
from kindergarten all the way through
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
We're
over
not
like in
regional.
Merrimack, they're
Right.
regional, and a lot of people are regional around here. And the district, you know, people complain sometimes about, you know, the cost of the district and whatnot. You know, maybe the, you know, the amount of money they spend on you know, the administrator or whatever. But when I was really involved in everything, I tell you, we get a hell of a bang for our buck in this district because we're number 1, 2, or 3 from the bottom per pupil spending
Mm-hmm.
in this state of 351 communities.
So we're one of the
and
least.
we spend
Spend the least.
almost the least of every community, and we're in the top 10 percentile of the scores. So
Plus-
we get a heck of a bang for our buck for what we have going on here. And personally,
I-
with my 2 kids in the district, we've had nothing but just fantastic relationship with the school.
Yeah.
One was in sped, one's in honors, and just I got just great
Both
things
of
to
my
say
kids
about the
went,
district.
went through all their years
Yeah.
of school in Georgetown, and I
Yeah.
went through a couple. And I think with the type of school system we have that's not regional, when you go down to speak to someone, whether it be a teacher or someone in SPED or someone superintendent or
Yeah.
school committee, you get heard.
You do, and
You get listened to.
And I just was on the past couple of years in Merrimack on the FinCom over there, and with their district, it's wildly frustrating because you've got 3 towns, school committee's rather large, and you don't have any voice.
Yeah.
I mean, you do, but not like.
Yeah,
I
lots
mean,
of voices
you get
and nobody's
TLC.
listening.
You get
Yeah.
TLC in your own district. When you have a regional, you don't get any TLC. So
So-
I thought it was. We've had a great experience, and just great to see the turf fields come on board with the GAA. Putting down the carpet and the money and everything to be able to build the turf field, and then the other interesting thing about being selectman was working on that host agreement with Healthy Farms, and
Mhm.
seeing that now that they've got another company that wants to come in and grow, and working on a whole nother beverage company apparently.
So all the good stuff.
Yeah, interesting.
There had
So I
to be-
really enjoyed
There
it.
had to be some frustrating things though, other than what we just talked about. That was the
Yeah,
small thing. The
I mean,
little
there's
things.
always bomb throwers or whatever and whatnot. I think the
There's
frustrating.
still bomb
Yeah, of
throwers.
course, yeah, and at times I'm one of them, so I can't calling the kettle black. You know what I mean? But no, I think I think the thing that would frustrate most people if they're in a public service, being in business and then serving like selectmen or something like that, is that really slow grind that government does.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating. I can understand how our president gets frustrated, because he's a mover and a shaker, and the way wheels of government go. I mean, and in most respects, I would say in a good way and for a good reason, because you really want to look at everything, and you want to look at all 360-degree view of it when you're making a decision or doing something. So I understand why the wheels of government grind slowly, albeit you kind of get frustrated with
Yeah.
it sometimes.
That's why I like being moderator,
Yeah.
because everybody does all of my homework
Right.
for me,
Yeah.
and then.
And then you get to throw people out of town meeting or whatever,
I've done that
I
for a few
know.
years. I've thought about it. I've threatened.
Well, the great thing is that.
Everybody does their homework for me
Yeah.
to run town meeting.
Right, exactly. And all the
And for-
departments, it's really
Right.
amazing to see.
And then for the people to be allowed to make their decisions
Right.
based on everybody else's homework.
Yeah, and I would say honestly, one of the biggest frustrations, and that's for everybody that serves on any committee in town, is the beauty is that, and I don't think a lot of people know this, is that most of the town departments and everything are run by citizen volunteers.
Right.
So there's only like 46 employees in the town.
Yeah.
The rest,
Right
other
here in this
200,
building.
yeah, the other 200 are all the volunteers
Right.
for the FinCom, everything. You name it, selectmen all the way down.
Zoning board, all that stuff.
All of it,
Yeah.
planning, everything, and people don't realize that. We would get people moving in that were like, oh, I didn't realize that this town was run by citizen volunteers and everything. And one of the early things that I did on my first year in selectmen was we were having trouble filling all the open positions on the various boards.
I still have trouble filling.
Yeah, so
finance
one day I had this epiphany, and it was like, okay, I opened my electric bill, and then it was a bill stuffer, and I'm like, oh, well, why don't we put the open positions in the bill stuffers? And we did that one November, and we filled virtually every position within 6 months.
Okay,
And it was like
selectmen, why
just-
don't we put
just
a
crazy.
bill stuffer in so that we can fill the finance committee?
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. And it worked great. And it was funny
Yeah,
because
really.
we would have volunteers that were interested in serving come before the board, and they would be like, yeah, the only thing I ever get analog anymore for a bill is my electric bill. and I saw that, you know, I didn't realize that the town was run by volunteers, and I really want to serve and everything like that.
Oh, we
and,
need to think
and
about doing that again.
It worked out fabulously, and it was great. But like I say, you know, the wheels grind slow, and that can be frustrating at times. But you know, I've always been in public service, so I really enjoy it. You know, when I was in 5th grade, I was like, we had like monthly elections, so I was president of the class for a month in 5th grade, and then I was high school. I was student body president, and I've always been in politics.
I was
and
terrified.
Whatnot and all that.
I couldn't talk to a group of one.
Yeah.
No,
I've never had.
I've
never had problems public speaking, and look at you, you're on the stage at town meeting and everything. But the other thing was nice was looking at the personnel in town. A lot of good, dedicated people work hard. They've been here for years. It was really interesting going through hiring of the police chief and the fire chief, your 2 new chiefs. Very interesting process. Very interesting feedback from candidates and everything like that. You know. And you know, we made the right decisions.
Yeah.
You know, bringing in the 2 chiefs that we have,
It's funny
and they're
because
really doing a good job.
my dad is heading towards his mid-90s,
Really.
and
Good for
one of the
him.
most memorable things that he did, that he thought he was the most successful at, was bringing in Chief Spencer
Yeah. Yeah. I
when
mean,
he did it.
it's
You know,
really
40 years ago.
Yeah,
or
it's
50 years
amazing.
ago,
Like
something.
when you're bringing in a head like that of a department,
And Chief
particularly
Spencer was
you know,
here for
long time.
30 years.
Yeah, long time.
Something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Long time.
So
I mean, you know, the police chief's wonderful. You know.
he is.
He's a town resident, loves it, been here all his life. One of the few departments that's
I still have trouble
I
calling
think he
him
calls
chief.
it certified or whatever.
Yeah.
I know Donnie's great.
That's what happens. I call him Donnie.
I know, I do
Since
too, and I have to
forever.
go, oh, hey chief, you know, what's up, you know. But I think he said at the time when he got the department certified, there were, I think we were the 32nd or 33rd community to have a police department certified.
Yeah.
And that's a very arduous, very long process.
Yeah.
It took him years to get there,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And it was interesting when he came in, you know, we had 2 good candidates, and you know, his resume was like half a ream of paper
Oh, he was
on
still-
all the certifications and everything
all
he'd
the
done
years
over 10
that
years
he was
leading up to it.
on the force,
Yeah, amazing.
because I knew him all
Amazing.
those, and I watched all those years.
Yep.
He was always taking courses and
Yep.
going for certifications
Yep.
personally
Hmm.
and getting ready.
And bringing his members in the department in there.
Mhm.
And then he really believes in growing from the inside out,
Yeah.
and which is good. And he does a great job grooming people.
Yeah. We have another new officer
Yep,
that
he
just
does a
came in.
really good job getting everybody's business in order. Everybody has their expectations, knows what the expectations are. That department runs really, really smoothly.
Yep.
And the fire department's improved a lot.
Yeah.
You know, people
I've
always
used
ask
their
me,
ambulance service
oh, the
quite a bit.
ambulance service is wonderful.
Much more than I wanted to.
You know, and it was interesting. Everybody was worried about it.
Yeah.
The guys on the fire department, particularly Jeff Manning, did a great job laying out the pro forma,
Mhm.
you know, for the ambulance.
Yep.
They laid out their case.
Jeff has been in my house many times.
And yeah, and they've done, you know, they've beaten their pro forma every year, and it's a moneymaker for the department and for the town, which is good. And you know, Chief, why am I blanking over there in the fire chief now? Mitchell, Chief Mitchell, great guy, really understands the admin side of it,
Mhm.
and that was the strength that I thought the department needed, and that was really why I was an advocate for him.
Yeah.
Really understands both sides of the equation, but brings a lot of good structure, and has really done some good things. I've heard a lot of good feedback from the firefighters,
So
because that department's always been
with
bumpy
with-
and prickly,
with
let me
all
say,
of
from
these
the
good
inside.
things, you still deserted us.
Well, I had to resign from the selectmanship when I moved to Merrimack, you know what I mean? Couldn't afford a house in Georgetown when I got divorced, unfortunately.
That's not uncommon. So
I
why
came
don't we
close to buying a two-family in town, and
Why don't we
unfortunately I fell
come
through.
back to talking about you?
Okay.
So before you were the pool guy, what type of work did you do?
I've always been in media sales and management. So for 25 years, I was in radio sales management in Boston and New York. And then after that, I was with Simon Malls running New England for their 24 malls for all the out-of-home advertising that's in the malls.
Okay.
So when you see cars on display, branded play areas, sky banners, wrapped windows and stuff like that type of thing.
So now you are the pool guy.
Now I'm the pool guy.
Travel is much less.
Yeah, my commute.
Getting to and from work is much
my
less.
commute is, thank the Lord, 8 miles.
8 miles.
8 miles over the back roads, through the woods, literally, instead of going down Route 1 and over to Storrow Drive every day.
Good.
So I don't miss that. I love it. It's a country back road that I take to work every day.
Now, it's for people that don't know, where is the pool guy located?
We're at 33 Library Street, right down on the corner by Napa. And
Okay, that's how people will remember when you say by Napa. It's
Yeah.
right next door to Napa.
Yeah.
And it's the one with the great big,
chair.
lifeguard chair
Uh-huh.
right outside.
It was white. I painted it red, so it
When
sticks
did you
out
paint it
beautifully
red?
now. Back a few months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks good. Put the bunting out there for
Yep.
the summertime.
And the pink snake?
Yeah, the twisty serpent and the floaty rings and stuff like that. But I'm enjoying it. I've always worked for corporate, and I've literally in like 25 years probably talked myself out of 15, 20 businesses. And just right time, right place kind of happened last fall.
This is almost like a retirement from big business.
Yeah, this is
into
done with corporate,
your own
into
business.
entrepreneurship. I've always been an entrepreneur. I mean, I remember when I was I think it was 7th grade, yeah, in Worcester, 7th grade, I had a printing class, and they said, oh, you can do all sorts of things. So I printed up business cards and like memos, and I was doing lawn service and snow removal, and I was running around my neighborhood handing out on my business cards, picking up accounts and stuff like that. So that's as far. No, before that, I would get like hubcaps on the side of the road and stuff like that, and I'd clean them up, and I'd sit there, sell lemonade and
Sell them.
hubcaps when I was like 8 years old. So I've always had
Sell
that
back to
entrepreneur
people that
that lost them, exactly.
That's
So
what I do with the golf balls.
there you go, exactly.
Except I do it for special needs, or I do it
good,
for
yeah, for
Special
charity
Olympics.
or whatever.
I do
That's
it for
awesome.
Special Olympics.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've always been into that entrepreneurial spirit. Just had the right time, right place, right means to be able to do it. My son Channing's working with me full time.
So you said when? When did you buy it?
I closed on it in early January of 18.
Okay.
And it was for sale in the fall last year. So, I went in and looked at it and walked away, and then came back in like December, put a deal together, and then we closed, about 6 weeks later. And so it's good. Half the reason I bought it was my son, Channing, is working with me full time. He graduated from Georgetown High 2 weeks ago. And
that's
yeah, that was
neat.
exciting. It was nice, to see. I was like, when he crossed the stage, I said, oh my Lord, thank the Lord. And everybody around me started laughing, because everybody was feeling the same way about their kids graduating.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big event,
Oh, yeah.
and all that. And
you lived through it.
yeah, we lived through it. I don't know how, but we did. And he didn't want to go to college, so I said, look, I'm thinking about buying this. He and I were talking about opening a vape store anyway, so Savage Vapes, that's kind of how it ended up in the Pool Guy, where we were looking for a place to open up
That's
a vape
upstairs.
store. Yep. And
Okay, let's
he jumped on board with that,
let's do
and here he
let's
is.
do the pools first. So, in the Pool Guy store, what do you sell other than pools? I've been in the store, so
Yeah, we sell all the chemicals and whatnot, and accessories, hoses, parts, pumps, filters, motors, anything and everything you need for a pool.
You also sell things like life jackets
We have life jackets
for
in
the
there,
kids
yep.
to go in the
Yep,
pools.
yep.
and-
We got floaty toys. We've got the big green egg grills, the big ceramic grills. So we do all the accessories for that. I added some coolers this year, Bison coolers, really nice cooler. Everybody's into Yeti, but this one kicks Yeti's.
So you
But,
don't
you
have
know
to
what I mean?
own a pool to go to
No.
the shop.
Yeah, we sell bird seed and bird
Birdseed.
supplies.
I buy my bird seed there,
Yeah,
too.
we do free water testing for pools and spas. full spa line of chemicals and things like that, filters, all that. And then just different, accessories for Big Green Egg. We bundle firewood, so if anyone needs fire pit wood, I've added fire pits too, so if they want fire pits.
Oh, that's neat.
And I build tiki bars for the backyard.
You build tiki bars.
So I have a model
Jimmy
tiki
Buffett,
bar.
here we come.
Exactly. Well, if you walk into the store, most days you're going to hear reggae playing. You know what I mean? Right now, I got Santana playing with some other music mixing in today, but that's because my son got sick of hearing reggae for 4 months straight. But yeah, no, we're doing tiki bars, and I call it the Rustic Tiki Bar Company because I build them out of pallets, and then I put that really thick, beautiful pine on there with the live edge on it.
You want some pallets?
I've got plenty of pallets.
Oh, shucks. I've got pallets downstairs that I don't need.
Yeah, I bring in 20,000 pounds of chemicals, and I get a lot of pallets, you know what I mean? So, yeah, so the pool guy's fun. What we did was add services, though, this year, which Matt didn't do.
Okay.
So what that is, we do openings, we do closings, above and in-ground pools. We do
those were my next questions. So
weekly service, repairs,
do you help
install.
people open their pools?
Yep, we do the opening for them, yep.
And
we can help them or do it for them.
Okay, so above ground and in-ground.
Yep. And then we do weekly service, bi-weekly service. And then if anyone needs pumps, filters, salt generators,
so if I want to have a pool and I don't want to have to deal with all that opening and closing and testing my water and all of that stuff, you will do it for me.
We'll do it all, yeah.
All I have to do is sit there in the chaise and read my book and veg.
So the philosophy on that is, well, Matt Cagney owned the store. It was just him, and because I've got my son Channing there, he's running the store most of the day, and I'm literally on the road from 7 in the morning until last light, doing openings, closings, repairing, doing pumps, filter, everything, and running that. And that philosophy is, we have a short season. The pool and your backyard is your playground. You want to play on the playground.
For a couple of
you
months.
don't want to work on the playground.
Right.
So you let us do the work so you can play on the playground. And you know what? Honestly, I've been very surprised, pleasantly surprised, that the demand for the openings and the demand for the weeklies is incredibly strong and growing literally every week.
Well, and it's one of those, for most people, if they can afford to have that above ground or in ground pool, they can usually afford to have the service.
Yeah, I mean, it's within reach. I'm the least expensive in the area. Our openings are way different than what most companies. Most companies will come in, they take the cover off, they either trash vac it or they, do a quick leaf skim and they shock it and they leave. Well, mine's got 4 or 5 more steps to it.
Plus, most people that have, or a lot of people that have pools, have had them for a long time.
Yeah.
They're aging out of doing the work.
Correct. Absolutely.
And they're not necessarily able to do all of that work anymore.
A lot of my clients are in that boat.
Yeah.
And a lot are, surprisingly, a lot are new homeowners, first-time pool owners. So they're like, we just want this thing to go, you know what I mean? And then bring it in, come in,
make
teach
me
us.
happy.
So what I do for those guys is I do the opening, and then I do a tutorial for them. And then they text me, and they call me, and they send me pictures, and I hold their hand and walk them through it. So it's fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's nice to help people out and
So you
do
have
that.
this personal contact with these people, which is very nice.
A lot of it, and it's
That's return business.
Yeah, and they're helpful, and a lot of them have been really great, giving me reviews on the website and social media, and they really like it, because I was surprised how many companies are out there that do this type, but nobody's doing good work.
Plus,
They're
there's
not
nobody,
doing great service either.
Georgetown is kind of centrally located from Georgetown, Boxford, West Boxford,
Yep.
going into
I'm
Groveland
pretty much
and
up to
Haverhill
Newburyport,
and
all the way
yeah.
down to North Reading, and all the way, over to the east and as far, like,
and a lot of the
North
pool
Andover's
companies
about as far as I go.
down in the
Andover.
highway areas.
Yeah.
In the Route 1 areas.
Yeah.
So it's nice
And,
that you're
yeah.
you cover a different location.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and people have been really liking those services. So
Okay,
I
now to
appreciate
the
that.
store upstairs.
The vape store, Savage
Vape
Vapes.
store.
Yeah. So a lot of people wonder what the heck is Savage Vapes.
What is a vape?
Well, a vape, I should have brought one in. Sorry, it's in my truck.
It's okay?
So it's an electronic cigarette, basically.
Okay.
So people might have seen blue cigs, BLU e-cigarettes, on the convenience store counter. Those are electronic cigarettes. They're a juice, basically, and an oil-based juice.
Oh, so you put
That has
juice
nicotine
into
in it, right. So we sell a pod-based system, which is an empty pod that you can put your own juice in. We sell pre-filled pod systems that already have flavors and nicotine in them. And then we sell the juice that has anywhere from 0 nicotine all the way up to 50 milligrams of nicotine in it, as well as the mods, the batteries, the coils, the replacement
So
parts.
it's like
and-
smoking, but it's not smoking a cigarette.
Correct. Exactly. So as an
why
example.
do people do that instead of smoking a cigarette?
Well, a lot of people do it. That is, a lot of our customer base is like 30 plus. And in fact, I have a customer, and she's really funny. She quit smoking about 8 weeks ago, analog cigarettes, and she's been on a vape. And the first day I met her, she came in and she goes, "I've been doing this for 6 weeks now, and I haven't cheated yet." You know what I mean? And she had this little Soren pod, and she goes, "I'm on a 3. I need it higher." And I said, "Well, what do you want? You know, I can go to 50." She's like, "I think I need a 12 or an 18." I said, "All right, well, here's an 18, here's a 12." She's like, "Okay, I'll try the 12." And she was in the other day, and she's like, "I've been 3 months not smoking, and I've been doing this," and she's working her way down to go to 0 and that. So it's good that way
So a lot of people use it to help them
to get off of analogs.
off the nicotine.
Yep, and get off analog cigarettes. So, as an example, the jury's still out because it's a new industry. So there haven't really been any long-term studies on the health effects, whatever, you know. So that jury's still out. So we really don't know, is it going to be any better, any different than smoking a cigarette or cigars or whatever. We have no idea. Just the chemical base of a cigarette, when you burn it, has like 5,000 chemicals in it. When you burn a vape, it's got 4 ingredients in it, 5 ingredients in it.
Now, what's the cost? What's the price point?
The typical
Compared to
person, if they were a pack-a-day smoker in Massachusetts, they would save about $1,200 to $1,500 a year from smoking.
Okay.
Vaping versus smoking.
Vaping as much as they used to smoke.
Right.
Okay.
Much less expensive.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Now, store operation hours.
During the season, so pool season, we're open weekdays 9 to 6, Saturday 9 to 5, Sunday 9 to 4.
Okay.
And then during the off season, the hours change. It's the PoolGuy, Georgetown.com, or SavageVapes.com.
Okay. Is there anything we missed?
No, just come on down if you have a pool, if you have any questions, you know, you have needs, spas, whatever.
Or
you know,
just come on down and walk around and take a look.
Yeah, check out the tiki bars, you know what I mean? Have a soda on the tiki bar while you're getting your water tested, you know. Jump in the pool. We have a pool out back if you want to look at a pool.
You actually have a pool set up out back?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, I think it's an 18-foot round.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's
neat.
set up as a model so that people could see one built. So they can show me if they're troubleshooting something, you know, all that kind of stuff. So
it's a neat place to wander around.
yeah, there's definitely always something going on. You know, you got grills. There's a lot going on. So stop in and say hi.
Listen to some good music. Check out
Yeah,
the
we always
tiki
have
bar.
good music playing. The tiki bar out back. You know, it's a beautiful day. You can hang out and chill. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's a pleasure. Nice to
Thank
see
you.
you.
It's good to see you.
All right, Beth. Thanks for your
So
time.
glad to have you at least in town in some way.
Well, I'm in town 7 days a week, even though I don't live here. I live here, but I don't live here.
Good to see you.
Thank you, Beth.
I'm Beverly Enos. This is Spotlight Georgetown. Don't forget you can find us Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Thank you for joining us. Bye for now.